I was talking to Papa Legba. I was just like, I'm in a stank mood. So, I'll take off for today as for my career, and that is going over the points of origin DNA and now including recording content about it. And this is just one branch of my career, but, very crucial branch. So, usually when it's time to put together some content, I like to be in a certain type of mood so that it's quality, that the energy is inviting and nourishing and stuff like that. But fuck all that. Today is Mars, okay? It's exactly what you think it is. Mars, war. We're going to talk about the good side of Mars, but we're going to talk about the stank side. See, I'm in New York City, and just walking on the sidewalk, you can have road rage, especially the ways it's zombified. Certain neighborhoods, sometimes it might just be a cultural thing that you raise a certain way, so you don't know how people move. You know what I'm saying? So that's innocent sometimes. It can also be some other BS, something primitive in the mentality of certain areas you might go into where people are just not happy. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even just the culture. You can go into a neighborhood with one particular culture and the energy is vibrant and plush and abundant, lush and fertile. And that same race could be in a neighborhood where it is not like that at all. Okay? So, you know what I'm saying? And it could be a stank attitude in the abundant area and a humble one in the humble area, or humble energy in the abundant area and a stank one. And it depends on the day. It depends on the rest of the city. Sometimes New York is vibrating funky. And the way the weather has been lately, understandable. But Mars is always going to symbolize war. The animal totem that can easily go with Mars, not necessarily the Martian DNA that we're going to go over. And when it comes to the Martians themselves who are in the human experience, I don't got no problem with them. I don't got no rage towards them. But I know what I got to tell them is going to help them with their rage. There's a lot of Martians that could say, I got through it. But in my youth, I was a hot mess. Yep, I got you. I get it. Let me take off these bracelets. It's a little bit loud. I'll keep on too. So, road rage and war and, we want to talk about the point of origin, but when I go to do the point of origin, a little bit of a read comes in there as well. So whoever clicks on just to see out of curiosity, or even recognize themselves by going onto my website and looking and seeing the Martians and you're seeing the facial features and the contributions, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that with proper funding, hint hint, wink wink, with proper funding and investors and investments, right, it would be able to be told in full about each DNA group, the amount of interviewing and the production that would go into the physicality of someone from Mars. Usually the body is very strong. It's a warrior energy. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I heard. The actor, I'm going to tear his name up, Luke Cage, the actor who played Luke Cage. If you put him and Arnold side by side, you'd be like, what in the twin, yet not twin, but twin shit is going on here? You know what I'm saying? And only in Mars do you have that point of origin and that set specific contribution in particular. All the traits, the human traits, every point of origin is going to overlap as far as what they have in common. But Mars is Mars. So when you come around people who have a Martian DNA, Scarlett Johansson, Serena Williams, there's a strong, resilient, don't fuck with me without having to say don't fuck with me energy. Lisa Left Eye Lopez, hey sis, hey girl, okay. And people might be like, oh, Because every time you think of Lisa, you might think of the house burning down instead of thinking about how she was abused and just decided to burn down her man's sneakers and shit because he was wilding. He was doing what he was doing, okay? But didn't realize that it was going to be a flammable situation. When you see in red or you see in black, things can be a little bit out of hand. What's up, Lisa? You contributing? You contributing? She contributing, y'all. She's like, it's what it is, and then you grow up. You know what I'm saying? You grow up. You can't stay immature. Can't stay. You know what I'm saying? You got to grow up. That's what I'm hearing. Why did that sound like Cat Williams? You got to tell him no, and you got to grow up. But I find it refreshing, the Martian energy. I know that if I have Martian people who are on my side, I know I have support, and I know they would appreciate the support that I would offer, which would be 110%. Mars is not going to be, if somebody from the Mars point of origin is not giving you 110%, something is up, because Mars energy is 110%. It is. These are travelers. The people of Mars, they travel. They have an entrepreneurship, so I won't be surprised if a lot of them were in the sign of Aries. That Aries energy, very entrepreneurial. Just the cardinal signs, I would not be surprised if they were in that, or maybe mutable, so there's a lot of movement. But Mars is very, very powerful energy. What I would say off the jump to go with the stank mood, well, I have one half stank, one half enthusiastic, so hey, whatever, right? Maybe by the end of this, the stankness can just completely dissipate, because this is a high vibrational truth and topic to dive into, to learn, to be liberated by. Knowledge is power, to be empowered. Suppose you're not from Mars, but your child is. Suppose your father is from Mars, so you got 1/3 and 1/3 chromosome you, 1/3 and 1/3 chromosome your mom's, 1/3 and 1/3 chromosome your dad, and is Mars. So that'll explain why you got this go-getter, like, you know, let's get this going, let's travel, let's make moves, let's new beginnings, let's communicate, let's be forthright. You know, let's not be a punk, let's be courageous. But also let's watch our mouths, because I'm hearing a Sagittarius energy too. So with tact, and the cards here, the key crown cards of what we're going to talk about from the Sacred Forest Tarot and the Career and Life Oracle, or just Oracle, not Tarot, Oracle. We're not on the tarot today, but certain tarot cards will come up. The number one tarot card that's going to come up is this ancient Sumerian tablet that depicts the Strength card in full. And this was so key, because this weakness here is what gives way to you being strength. Whatever antics and shenanigans this antagonist provides will allow you to completely bloom, come out of dormancy, come out of cryostasis, and have strength and fervor and violence. I hope not. I hope not. Okay, maybe with Mars you draw that to you. One thing that I will say is you can have yin energy and you have yang energy. Excessive yang energy is a dangerous state to be in. So I'm stank right now, right? But I'm gonna have to come out of this. You know, I can't be in the street like I wish somebody would. I wish, you know, like I'd rather be in that kumbaya. But sometimes people will be like, oh, they, all this kumbaya. You know what? She triggering me to do something mean to her. I'm gonna take her niceness for granted. Please don't. Please don't. But somebody gonna make either a good potato salad or a nasty ass tater salad at the repast for your funeral. Am I gonna sit around here and cut you down with a weaponry? No. But my ancestors don't play about me, and some of them are from Mars. Cut you to the quick. And that's also why I'm annoyed. That Sagittarius energy, it's not about Sag. It's a certain placement, a certain science. So when I hear Sagittarius, it's like a trigger word. I have known and crossed paths with really good Sagittarius. You have really good and you have really evil in every zodiac sign, whatever. But Sagittarius is cold to let me know hidden enemies. That's why staying in excessive yang energy, it attracts a very early and violent demise. Excessive yin can be more of you taking yourself off the matrix grid. But secret enemies, definitely jealousy because of the vibrancy, the luck, the financials, the je ne sais quoi, the flair, the sexiness, the body, the physicality, male or female, regardless of the earthly race, whether you are beautiful chocolate, nice descendant, African descendant, or gorgeous, Lemurian descendant, or gorgeous Caucasian descendant, it you got this thing about you. So the jealousy is there, the hidden enemies are there. Some of y'all might think it's funny and cute up until you stop, when you realize how much trouble it's caused you. But for a certain time, or if you're low in energy, that might be a way that you're extracting energy instead of getting it from the source, instead of getting it from just a normal way of life. If you are in a low vibration, you might feel good about somebody coveting and being in their feelings about how something fly that you got. But I suggest as soon as you can, get out of that. That's empty calories. That's not going to really help you. That's not going to help you. That might blow some blessings. And then there's also karma. That's a seed you don't want to sow. So showing off is not okay, is what I'm saying for anybody. But showcasing your work and your flyness, high vibrational, like just, invite people to work hard, invite people to be dynamic, and sassy, and the shoulder shimmy within balance. Too much of anything, you're gonna, that's a strong energy. It requires balance. It requires balance. Crystals, I would suggest rose quartz, down like full on 100%. Rose quartz, carnelian for sure. Ametrine for balance, for the workaholism, and maybe even the laziness that can come about. That even for Martians, there could be a laziness. But there's a warrior energy, of course, when it comes to Mars. Athletic, fit, very talented, like, all the points of origins are talented. But, I'm definitely talking about, what's in our actual solar system. Outside of that, I'm getting to learn more. There's certain points of origin that I've been very aware of since this was first provided for me to be aware of. I'm still assisted. I can be on my feed on YouTube, and then a content creator comes up, and then I look, I'm like, oh, so this is the latest point of origin that I've been seeking out and finding. And then, my ancestors can control even YouTube. Which is good, because there's people playing games on YouTube harassing content creators, aren't they? Right? Anyway, so everything shows up on my feed, and I know I'm not the only person. There's a lot of people who are tapped in and aware and out of cryostasis that recognizes synchronicities, serendipitousness, and shows up on my feed. I'm like, oh, so this is, oh, cool. Let me screenshot this particular content creator. Let me see what they have to offer so that I could pay attention to the attributes that show up in my spiritual diagnostics or read about the point of origin, and see it in motion. See it in how they present their content, what content they're presenting. And this is just one direction, of course, of knowledge I'm receiving on points of origin, just day-to-day interaction. And 2008 into 2009, this was gifted. I've been getting my ass kicked because of it. It's worth it. It's just a price you got to pay to be able to crack codes, know what a tablet from 4,000 years ago is saying, whatever. It's for a season. It's not forever. Will I be tortured as I'm having peace as well? Being in a stank ass mood because somebody sent some real funky shit today. It is a war, by the way. It sent some stank shit. Like, you are not going to sit around here and be unbothered and kind and gentle and nourishing, and thus have a reputation that goes against the narrative that we sneak in and putting behind your back. To all the female Martians, lithium crystals, rhodochrosite crystals. Lithium crystals is very nice. You don't have to take lithium itself unless you are taking that because your doctor says your ass need to take some lithium. I'm talking about the actual crystal. Is very calming. So is lepidolite, that purple crystal. It comes in different textures. The one that I like is more of a shiny and it can be flaked off a little bit. That is calming and has lithium in that crystal. It's safe to put on. I don't think it's safe to make a tonic. Certain crystals, you don't put a tonic together with that crystal, like malachite. Malachite is good because of the black magic harassment. So that'll protect you from Martians. If you're in, it's time for childbirth, malachite, anybody in childbirth, malachite, and acupressure when it's time to give birth. Have your partner or your family member, whoever, press down, massage around the neck. Let me show you. There's a pressure point right where the neck ends, and that little muscle before you get to the shoulder. Press down on those 2 points, and it will cut down the birthing time, the suffrage. This thing was apply pressure, damn it, onto at that muscle right at the cusp of where the neck ends and your shoulder bone. So right all up in there, massage it, press it down, apply acupressure there, both side on either side of the neck during the time of pushing. Okay, for the cervix to dilate, certain points on the feet. Certain hospitals, NYU offers that complimentary to women who are, in the process of giving birth. An acupressure team will come through, and you'll be like, "Bring your asses in here, help me!" And then they'll come in and they'll work it out, and then you'll be dilated and showtime. And either one of them can stay and press down, or a family member that you trust. Dad, get your ass over there and press down on those 2 pressure points, and don't you let up. And don't you look down there either when giving birth. Anyway, that is a wisdom that all fathers need to take. What you looking at? Just hold the hand and press down on where the neck and the shoulder meet. Press there so we can speed up the process. For me, it took 30 minutes of pushing and done. Okay? Without all the having to be stitched up and all of that. I mean it, y'all. Acupressure is crucial. And for some reason, I had to bring it up for the point of origin of Mars. And that's something I'm going to keep at the forefront when I'm talking to anybody who is of the Mars. That for some the childbirthing portion is serious. And it's no joke, because it's life-threatening too if the birthing process goes left. So why let it linger when you can just press on down during the time of breathing and pushing and get that baby out safe, keep mama safe, and get going, right? Blessings to all the expecting parents and stuff, right? Okay, so here, I'm gonna dive into this, and then we're gonna go on the website and pull up, before I get into the spread, we're gonna pull up the attributes of Mars specifically. But right here, I do want to say, with the Sanctuary card, it's such a lovely, sweet card. Reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. So Mars, because you guys are adventurous, you probably might set off a rabbit hole. Okay? You'll probably set off a rabbit hole that will take you quantum leaps from where you began. So to explain that a little bit more, you might be telling the universe, I'm here, but my ideas, who I really am, is very grandiose. And the universe is like, well, in order to get there, you're going to have to take a wormhole. And when you come out of it, you'll be million light years away from where you were 3 years ago. But that wormhole might last for 3 years, and it ain't going to be no joke. It might be like putting the Hulk in a blender. And then you can't even be like, rah! You gotta shut the fuck up. Take it. In order to get through this creepy, crazy terrain, that's gonna quantum leap you light years away from where you began. So, there's a lot of Martians that can tell me, oh, you ain't even lying. You ain't even lying. And usually, what I'm seeing here in this read, I'm just gonna go over that pick up, especially now during the time of spiritual warfare, is that it's gonna take some foul betrayal to trigger it with this card. As cutesy pie as that card is, for me at this time in my life, since I've purchased this deck, I think it's not going on 2 years. This card is showing up to let me know that there's a gaggle, a group. I like that word gaggle. I got it up off of the originals. So for some reason, the originals in New Orleans is coming up. But um, this is a peanut gallery, more than likely doing magic or some type of plot and plan, some grouping of people who want to go against you. Okay? There's a few negative Martians that their mouth was nasty and their energy was like a badger, a honey badger or a badger. And even though that animal totem is fantastic for getting things accomplished and done, it is an aggressive ass energy and must be tempered. That's why I'm mentioning certain crystals. Rhodochrosite, it really is healing as far as self-worth and how people treat you worthy. Both. It's really nice. It's a creamy crystal sometimes, at least the tumbled crystals of rhodochrosite. Look like a nice piece of bubble gum sometimes. Ametrine. I would even say black tourmaline to transmute. Y'all always gonna hear me about some black tourmaline, about transmuting energies. Very important to transmute. So now, these people against you, but they have done the Star of David for you. They've set off your Merkaba, they set off your journey, your wormhole, through some form of betrayal and due to their jealousy. I promise you this. They didn't like what they saw, so they set some shit off. You're always going to be protected, but they set off some shit. So while you're in those wormholes in life that keeps getting you through quantum leaps, or maybe this is happening without a wormhole. This is happening before it sets you off, because maybe you're like, I thought this community or this group of people or this job was cool, or I thought my family actually love me even though they treat me a certain type of way, and it's just like, nah, your family is not really feeling you. And because of what you grew up with, the dynamic that you grew up with in the household has duplicated. Each archetype of your household, including yourself, has duplicated throughout your life. So if you're part of the pack and you've been the scapegoat or the omega, but yet you're really truly an alpha, and even out of the hierarchy or the structure of a wolf pack, because you got the delta wolf, the theta wolf, the omega wolf is the only other wolf that has the alpha, that could become alpha, because they can leave the pack. It's very dangerous, but they leave the pack because the pack is shit, right? They leave the pack, and now it's a wormhole, a rabbit hole. But they go from like naive to a master. You go from fool to master, right? And this is a really good thing. But while you're going through those moments, you're gonna have to be quiet and listen and learn. You're gonna know when you can't say something, when you gotta shut the fuck up. And I'm saying this, smiling and kicking, because I can apply this directly to me. I'm not from Mars, but when I was in that wormhole, I had to shut the fuck up. And the way my birth chart is, I got Sagittarius and Mars energy. So I gotta be careful anyway. It's great for writing, it's great for teaching, sharing, learning, travel. But Sagittarius is well known to put foot in mouth, because they're just trying to tell you the truth, but they really need to not tell you the truth and let somebody else. Who's to say you were supposed to tell that person the truth? Who said that you were supposed to do? Who said that was your responsibility? When you reach my age and better, okay, when you become even a golden saint, okay, with your walker and shit like that, there's gonna be wisdoms that you're gonna share or spare, and there's gonna be a time where you shut up and be like, you're gonna learn, and that's the only way you're gonna learn. So I ain't gonna waste my motherfucking energy and breath, and then you want to shoot the messenger. I don't think so. So it says, prickly situation. You need both tact and diplomacy to reach your goals. The struggle is worth the prize. Work around the issue and use a gentle touch. It's 11:42. It's June 18th, 6:18. That's the code for the gate of the new hell, VIP, that's wide open. Anyway, that's another complete and utter story that is the illest. We'll get to that. But it's 11:42 a.m. and technically I've been up since like about 5 in the morning. Already I've come across grimy, and they're behaving in a certain way where it's very predictable at this point for me as a medium, as a psych major, um, as somebody who's been on the planet. Like, I'm an OG, so I'm like, okay, here's this dumb pattern. That's what I called her, a dumb pattern, a predictable one, narcissistic or demonic. To me, that's the same thing. Or Cain or Cainette. Okay, got Cain and Abel. You got sentient and you got malicious, malignant beings. So this one who puts on the facade that she's sentient, a nice, but she's really a malignant, mean-spirited person, decided to test me today. And they didn't get what they wanted. They were also trying to test me to see if playing in my energy is why they're getting their ass kicked and their family getting fucked up. And I'm like, I know they're getting fucked up and I know you're getting your ass kicked. I don't know the details, but I know my ancestors do not play about me. So fuck with me if you want. I see you like to do it. And why? Why? Because the person was abused in their household, so they can't do nothing but abuse, even if it's just emotional, doing mean-spirited shit, spiritual abuse. They can't put hands. How you gonna put hands? So when I saw the shenanigans and they wanted to get a rise out of me, they wanted to take me down a few pegs because I've been, I entered a new phase in life, and it's nice. It needs to be. It's like a newborn, so it needs care. You can't be like, oh, a new phase, I'm all of that in a bag of chips. No, you got to be even more vigilant in a new phase. But this person is relegated to staying in a comfort zone, not even appreciating it. They're very ungrateful, and being angry when others are allowed for growth and movement and change. And it's a very good thing and it's refreshing. It's courageous, though. It takes courageousness. So I know I'm talking to straight into the heart of a Martian, whoever is, looking, or whoever's listening to this and going through the same shit. They do things to provoke, take you down a few pegs, snatch you down from all that high vibrational, you all happy and enthusiastic, you're a transformer, you transform yourself and everybody around you, your environment, you moving like gaga, and they're like, no, come down up off that nag, like in the movie Django. Who that ninja on that nag? That's what Samuel Jackson character said. Who that ninja on that nag? A hater, basically. Talking about who that ninja on that nag. Let me snatch him off your high horse, your high nag. And I was like, you're not going to do that. You don't have control over me. Now, after that, I'm walking in the streets getting errands done, and a lot of assholes. So by the time I got in here, I was like, you clean up, you sanctify, you keep your homes, blessed and cleansed. Keep your eye on the prize, focus. I'm blessed enough to work inside my home. I'm not going to take time off. I'm blessed to receive this information. I'm not going to just hoard it. I'm going to share it. And the fact that I was told, Papa Lip was just like, you just stank mood to talk about what's going on. For the female Martians also, when it's time for your monthly cycle, whatever you can do to balance that out. If you're suffering from endometriosis, if you're working with your doctors, as far as like anything with the sacral chakra, the reproductive system, it is like a thermostat for our emotions. So if that's off, I'm going to really emphasize that for Martian, women with Martian DNA, because of that energy that you carry. It's wonderful when it's balanced and but it's still a very powerful energy that can devour you, make you like rah during that time of month. Where again, certain crystal therapies or therapies that you work with your physician first and foremost. I'm just saying what works for me. Um, Carnelian, even sunstone, um, green calcite would be refreshing. Green calcite also draws money, but it's very calming and healing. Unakite or unikite, if I'm saying, but however you say it, damn it. Unakite is very healing, opaque, thick crystal. It's opaque. People have said that it's been an healing aid for any disease, man-made or whatever, curable disease or not, whatever. Um, People have used it for cancer because it does help you deep down into your cellular. And I'm also hearing spirulina, taking some spirulina and breathing. This is another point of origin with breathing. But unikite, that's good to help, with any kind of diseases from asthma to cancer to this, that, and the third. It's not the healing, antidote, but it is a good tool. And definitely make sure that it's safe for you before you even use it. But these are the tools that are out there that if it works for you, it works for you. Okay? Prickly situation can set you into a wormhole or a rabbit hole, which takes you very far. This is why these three Sacred Forest cards, and I have three life career cards that are that we're going to use to clarify or just embellish upon. So you got transcendence, right? Transcendence. The number there is 28, Wheel of Fortune, but the 2 and the 8. Vigilance and victory, I'm hearing with this transcendence. I'm hearing that vigilance in victory, reward, and restraint. This is going to come up on my channel big time, right? But there's an emphasis on that. The next one is stability, and then that swan energy. So you got the badger, but the swan medicine is a beautiful thing. And also that swan is saying, is if it's ugly duckling situation, get away from those ducks. Get out of that. If you was taught this, like there's certain things that it was embarrassing when I got checked in my early adulthood on it, but it was toxic and it didn't need to go with me in my journey. I needed to grow up. I needed to shed certain ideologies or habits, even addiction, like addiction to drama or some, stuff like that. It needed to be pointed out so that I'd be made aware of it. Like, girl, there's a gaping hole in your aura. Go heal that. Go do something with that. I'm like, oh, whoa. And that gaping hole in the aura had me in some real, behaving in a way where it would turn folks off, So you got to balance out the way my chart is. There's a lot of raw energy. So I have to find ways to balance it out. It's important. Sometimes just refrain, restrain, go sat my ass down. Shut the fuck up. Like, I have to tell them, like, you don't gotta say nothing. You don't always gotta help, or assist. Are you micromanaging anybody? These are the things that the chin checking is very necessary. And I know Mars will do very well chin checking themselves just like anybody else. You can really bring that contribution of Mars, in full bloom. Very strong energy. But the swan is necessary. Don't be in no dirty pond, a big fish in a dirty pond. Okay? Don't do that. Don't limit yourself. But because you may have grew up in that environment, but you can't stay like that. You cannot stay the Omega Wolf. Leave that pack. And find another Omega Wolf or an actual Alpha Wolf and start a new pack. You got to do that. You have to. Okay? The last one is knowledge. And even the boat, you're getting that swan energy again. And that swan is grace. If you want to lump it into one word, grace, which makes sense. So you got aggression, you got grace, balance. This is very, very beautiful. I mean, look, grace, look how calm, right? Aggression, look at that lion, that protection, that courage. strong, graceful. Protagonist, don't be this, don't be this. And if you are in this state, let's come on out of there if you ain't supposed to be there. If you're supposed to be there, you can stay your ass right there. You can stay right there. Hold on, stay right there 1 second. I got something for you. But, if you, rah, rah. That Mars energy is no joke. Bottom of the deck energies, but it's still just pertinent. Oh, yeah, I see courage. Courage is there. Here's courage. I see the courage. I see power. I see wisdom. But playfulness. This is like just an extra benefit of the read. So playfulness is very, very important. That'll help you manifest a whole lot better when your energies is light. Because remember, there's a condensed, strong strength in the physical of your body, generally speaking, and in your energies. So get my computer right. And then it says with the playfulness, which is super sweet vibes, nice. Sometimes you just, again, gotta stop. What's the number here? Oh, yeah. With the number 15, in a regular situation, 15 is the devil or Capricorn card. So you want to balance out, what the Capricorn card can be pretty rough. It can be pretty, Capricorns can be like rah rah. And we are known to be clumsy, not to have grace until we get older. Okay? So this is definitely a need for grace and temperance of energies. It says new life. It's pretty nice. You may get a fresh start or be called to bring a new perspective to your old job. You may also get a tempting offer or new place, which will bring you, as you can see, the way I had the card here, I'm covering the antagonist. So you had people who were sabotaging people. I mean, and when I say sabotage, I don't mean lightly. This was bad. Now, this is just a general read, but it's coming up. It's in the air. Just Martians may have to deal with it in a very intense way, this aspect of the spiritual warfare. So again, transcendence and journey. I like this because it reminds me of Mars. Marijuana definitely grew on Mars, by the way. We'll talk about that another time. If I talk about that, I have to talk about Atlantis and Lemuria. So hold on a second. But what we was using weed for back in those ancient civilizations and what weed was used for on Mars, very interesting. But this journey is important. This transcendence is definitely given Malcolm X. It wasn't until he went to Mecca that he realized some things. He was very transcendent and very Buddha-like and very calm. But that Malcolm X is no joke. He ain't no joke. Come on now, that Mars and that Gemini energy, that rah. Plymouth Rock landed on us. You know what I'm saying? He was like gangster with it, and we loved it. And then when he became peaceful with it, I'm telling you, I love that. I'm very proud of Malcolm X. I'm proud of who he is now, seated at the Ark of the Covenant, that round table. Oh my God, his position there is fascinating. But we'll get into the Ark. Stability with that swan energy. Peace. Stability, it would have to be that you stay graceful. The aggression is used for constructive purposes, and you know when to pull back and when to be at peace, when to be at rest, self-care, or just calm. Handling things with a sweeter energy, which can be very challenging. The card that comes with that is independence. So leaving the ducks so that you can go with the swans, your spirit family, the right energetic community that has an amazing synergy with you. Okay, that's what you need. That's the quest. Put on my reading glasses. It says independence. It's time to cut out. No, excuse me. I'm about to say it's time to cut out some BS. It's time to go out on your own and create your own business or try something well outside of your comfort zone. I probably don't even need the cards. I just need the channel. Because again, that wormhole and rabbit hole and assholes, a lot of holes, right? That regal cat. It's a beautiful cat. I just like that energy. Sometimes you just got to stay in this vibe, right? And go off on your own. There's a leadership energy there. There's, with the stability is the 14. Transcendence, you got the 28, give us 10, but 8 is strength. The 2 is that high priestess. Sometimes it's just a silence or coming out of cryostasis, going within and meditating, learning more spiritual crafts or just your whatever craft that you are, really passionate about. Get on it. If it's acting, the craft of, whatever it is, then you need to be honing in on it. Whatever, however you're supposed to do that. The next one is knowledge with the 1, a new beginning. The stability has the number 14. Let me just make sure I got that clear. The number 14 on stability. Going around others with that temperance energy. That's balance of the swan and the badger. Very important. The swan and the hawk. Balancing out both is good for your health. Definitely good for your health. Again, if there's endometriosis, if there's anything, sometimes it's a change of diet that makes a massive mega difference. Can keep you from having surgeries, can keep you out of being infertile, like certain things like that. So yoga, the athletic pursuits, but temperance with the athletic pursuits. Make sure you're not deficient. Sometimes you have to retire out of athletic pursuits to spare your physical long-term health ailments like easily fracturing bones. If you're an athlete, then taking Bioflex and taking calcium with magnesium and maybe vitamin C, and checking with the doctor for all of this. But these are the tools that are out there. Make sure you're not deficient in these things. But fortify yourselves. Okay? Fortify yourselves with knowledge. It's a leadership energy. It moves you forward. Very knowledgeable. Travel does help with the knowledge. It does help with keeping your energies up and fresh and roaring and raring to go. The card that comes with that knowledge is give and take. Okay, so it says, be open to giving and receiving to keep the flow of abundance going. Give someone a chance and ask for what your heart desires. Love it. So being the Omega Wolf, it's not going to work. Being this when that's who you are, it's just what it is. You can't be the Omega Wolf because, you know what I'm saying? That scapegoatism, that's terrible. You eat scraps. You get abused. You draw abuse. I know the point of origin, Aldebaran, it's specific about the regalia. Like they need to always be dressed on point. People like myself that's not even from Aldebaran, but I have a path of life number that requires me to be dressed a certain way. If I dress regular, I draw abuse. And it's true. I've seen it. Or some type of negative energy. I could just be in some regular jeans and a t-shirt, but I got like some aqua aura crystals on. And people are like, how is she shining in that little basic little t-shirt and jeans? And I have on this beautiful frock and this, that, and the third. And she's getting more attention. Or he's got the white tee and the jeans on, and I done put on all this shit. Got the jewels and shit, the nice car, the nice whip, and they checking for him. Interesting, right? Then they want to do you something for that. Bottom line is, for Mars, dress to impress. Always. This is one of your strengths. And if you don't feel like it, okay. But if you see people acting a certain type of way, whether you are of color, quote unquote of color or not, people might treat you a certain way if you're not dressed to the nines. Unfortunately, that's part of the human experience. The potluck here. It's just whatever it is, you know, but at least you know that certain colors are going to get you that job in that interview. Certain way you dress is going to get you into that club if you know, you young, you know, like young and fresh and you want to go and party and shit. You know, you can't wear that and you can't wear that color. You're not getting into the club at night. Oh, if you wear that, you in that color, you'll be invited into the VIP. Okay? So, yeah. It's interesting. It's awesome how this works, right? Let's go into the website. Again, when you go into Tanya the Brooklyn Medium, so you have to Google, go into our work, and I would say maybe this one would have Mars. Okay. Right next to Lyra and the Intergalactic Federation, right? So, okay, enlarging. Awesome. Again, twins. Look at that. She's fun. She's fun. What's that? I will tear up somebody's name. What's that? Snooki from Jersey Shore. I sit down and have a drink. Like, hey girl, I haven't drank and I haven't been in the restaurant industry in a long time. So I don't know if I can handle drinking like that, like some Jersey Shore getaway type of drink. But I can put away a couple of little couple of drinks, get to laughing and shit, and kikiing and carrying on and celebrating life. I did like that show, Jersey Shore. But that's Snooki, hey girl. Josephine Baker, Serena. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's awesome. Scarlett Johansson. This young lady, she was in FBI. I don't know her name off the back, and if I did, I probably would tear her name up. So, but a great actress. When she left the FBI, when she left the bureau, I was just like, oh no, like you get accustomed to good synergy. I like the synergy. I don't know. She probably has other projects and stuff like that, but I wish she could have stayed on. They look like brother and sister, child. You see this? Same features, voice, physical structures, contributions, and much more. If all these people was in one room, either side of the veil, whether they're definitely invited to Zion, right? Either side of the veil, they sit around each other and be like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Morgan Freeman is one. He's another Martian. Okay? It's funny to call them Martians, but it is what it is, I'm Gen X, so I remember seeing stuff about Martians with like the little green men and all that stuff. No, it's not that. They're very tall, very big, and very strong beings, the Martians. What happened to their world? Spiritual warfare. Period. We'll talk about that more in depth, who is contributing to Mars. I think that's going to come naturally. The contributors to Mars. Right? Okay, so let's pull up the contributions. So if you want a screenshot or if you just want to go on the website, these are the contributions here. We're going to read through these and close out this this episode 1 or part 1 of Mars. This is going to be more when it comes to the points of origin. There's so much information, so much data. With proper funding, wink, wink, wink. With proper investors, that's not, it's not like watching The Shy. Mr. Perry, I don't know about that investor, but that type of investor. I don't know about that type of investor, but I need an investor. Hey, Al. Either side of the veil, Will do. Okay. All right. So contribution to Earth, the Wheel of Fortune. Now, see, this is it comes with the transcendence, the Wheel of Fortune at 28, 10, 1. So the Wheel of Fortune is very crucial. It'll help with your journey as far as um, not waiting for change to have to bust open your door, waving the 4-4 and snatch you up. When you're an initiator of change, it's very, very beneficial, very avataric of you to go into the center of such an energy, a cyclone, but in the eye of the storm, the balance, the temperance, stability, the temperance, knowing that it must happen. You must have the hawk and you must have the swan, okay? The aggression and then the grace. And so it says you may move to a new place for work or travel for work. Exploring the world gives you the experience that you need to succeed. I'm just reiterating that because we already went over that, but I'm just going to reiterate that. Martians are big travelers, and this is a very lucky attribute because you will have people working against you, especially enemies unknown, of a shady, grimy neighbor, a nasty coworker, a nasty employer who's a megalomaniac. Okay, it says the Wheel of Fortune. A simple and grounded path may do you well. However, you may be a prophecy fulfiller or give birth to one, or both. So you are a prophecy. So there's these prophecies that are in pretty much, I'm pretty sure, in every culture, or strong enough to touch and impact every culture on the planet and even off world. And you are here to help make sure that it gets fulfilled. If not, who you give birth to will make sure it is fulfilled. One way or the other. You may not even know it. You're just forging ahead like, this is what I want out of life, this is what I'm gonna do. Okay? It says be mindful of your reproductive health. Here, this is reiterating. Be mindful of your reproductive health as you may be prone to endometriosis. Wow, I forgot. I put this up a long time ago. I didn't realize. But that's coming up very strong. For the males or females, migraines can also come up. Because it is a very Aries, like Aries takes after Mars. It rules that part of the anatomy, the head and the face. So even as children, you may have been prone to you'll fall and you hit your head, you got like this huge knot on your head, or you know what I'm saying? Or migraines, or hair falling out through stress, pimple breakouts. What else? Okay, so let me keep reading. Nutritional well-being is highly recommended. In parentheses is meditation, acupuncture, acupressure. Okay, so should I even read any more of this, y'all? Because we just covered it. Meditation, acupuncture, acupressure during actual childbirth for speedier and safe birthing process. It's detoxing, fasting, crystal therapies, exercising, regular visits. Emphasize regular visits to a trustworthy physician, proper vitamins, proper intake of vitamins, live foods, just much more quality produce, live foods, and just much more quality produce. In the parentheses, it says some produce contains excess yin, like mango, or yang energies, like an apple or strawberry. So balance proper yin with like a red apple for the yang energy. You know what I'm saying? So there's a heavy thing about balancing, even down to the food that you're eating. And how you would even know about this, there's a book called You Are All Sampaku. That's the name of it. You Are All Sampaku. And that's important. I've covered it in another recording, but I might just do a special on that, so that's going to come up in different reads. And so when it does, you can always skim through, scroll through, and go to Sampaku, and I'll get more in depth about that. That might be the next message that I put up, is Sampaku. I noticed it a little bit today. You can see it in your eyes. when it's just been you're exhausted, or there's some type of illness, or there's some type of spiritual attack, something to throw off your body, your mind, your spirit, not your mind, because forget about the mind, it's the body and the physical. I mean, the body and the spiritual, the physical and the spiritual. Most crucial, because a lot of us are evolving out of even having to have a mind. Our spirit family has extracted it and escorted it somewhere else, and it's required for us to use consciousness now. Isn't that something? And when that was happening, it was really trippy for me. They let me know, we are marching your mind the fuck up out of here, because that is the breach in security when it comes to the spiritual warfare. That's how they're coming for you. So it's better you just work with your consciousness, and even then you gotta be conscious of what your consciousness is. I'm like, how about I just let go and let God, Father and Mother God, and all of the gods, God of all gods, right? Father of all fathers, King of all kings, Mother of all mothers, Queen of all kings. Let them and all the other gods and goddess that got my back, I gotta give, there's a lot I gotta give to them right now as we speak, because we're leaving Gemini energy going into Cancer energy, but this is timeless. So whenever you watch it, it's going to be talking about, there's a time for making choices, and it better be based on faith. That's what the Cancer energy is giving. So in the season of Cancer, the choice is to be more specific on choices. Gemini is like, okay, can you be specific? Tell me about a choice. And my choice would be for Gemini or anybody, take the high road. That's just what it is right now, period. Without all rhetoric and soliloquies, take the fucking high road as best you can. From the little petty shit that people are doing, take the high road, to something really massive, take the high road. It'll keep you safe. It'll keep a nice flow of good karmic returns. Keep you prosperous, spiritually, mentally, physically, monetarily, all of it, okay? Taking the high road is important because hell is on earth in a new type of way. And so is the kingdom of heaven. The high choice puts you in heaven on earth. And let me tell you, when I'm in that heavenly energy, when I'm not one foot in the heaven on earth or one foot in the hell on earth, which is normally how I think the majority of us walk every day. But these days, I just want to walk in the whole heaven energy. And then somebody like, get that bitch up off that heavenly nag. All that smiling and kikiing, bitch. Stop all that smiling. Smack that smile up off your face. I'm not happy, so you ain't gonna be happy. That's narcissistic personality disorder. NPD or Cain and Cainette. Hater, this hoe. This fool. That if I'm not happy, you're not happy. Period. That's what we're dealing with. This is the spiritual war. Or a part of the foundation of it. It's still, it's there. That's what it is. It's some hating energy. That's what war is, right? So it says, if you do get the book, You Are All Senpaku. Sorry, I veered off. But that will explain about the yin and yang. It's dealing with macrobiotic eating. So if you do go into macrobiotic eating, that's great. If you need it, that's really healing. Done right. But of course, educate yourself and definitely find out if you are, if this will work for you. But it has worked for a lot of people to balance out. And in my eyes, like I said, when I go into Senpaku, I'm going to do a message just on that. I think that's very important because the warfare is really wearing people out. So we need to know when to balance out ourselves. And when we look in that mirror and we're like, our eyes look a certain type of way, it looks like we're ill. You know what I'm saying? Then it may be time to go to the beach. Maybe time to just let go and just let your spirit guide handle shit. Just let it go. Okay? So, or you're deficient in something besides rest. So water, I'm hearing water. In general, you bring harmony as part of your contribution to the human experience. Colonic therapy would be absolutely amazing if you can handle that kind of therapy. I'm a punk when it comes to that therapy. If you want to know my kryptonite, colonic. Tooting my booty up to get a colonic? I don't think so. But there's, certain herbs, teas, capsules. You can go to Vitamin Shop, GNC, get the colon cleanse, get the liver cleanse. Some people, the doctors will put them on milk thistle and dandelion just to give your liver a balance. Your liver is important because you guys like to smoke cigarettes. Y'all are prone. I forgot about that. Did I put that in this? I didn't put that here. Cigarettes. I put marijuana here. Marijuana is a big deal for y'all. But just smoking marijuana with tobacco or hashish, things like that, it's really, really important for the hydration. Just be careful because it's giving that Aries energy, and the Aries energy, that animal of the ram is showing me the bronchial, showing the abdomen, the chest, the upper chest. So be careful when it comes to the tobacco and the marijuana. Maybe stop the tobacco, but definitely get some gummies, some edibles, a nice infused oil to prepare a nice meal and be toe up and the flow up responsibly. Okay, so marijuana, it says also connection to Neptune, which marijuana can facilitate. That was a huge deal for Martians when they were on Mars. That's what they used marijuana for, to connect, travel, interact with Neptune. And yes, I do have a point of origin heralding out of Neptune. There's plenty of species in this particular solar system. It's just so many different frequencies here. Jupiter is teeming. Jupiter is like a Deep Space Nine. It's just that not the frequency that you're looking at. It's a frequency within many of the frequencies of Jupiter that is like a Deep Space Nine. It is very much like Earth, but like however many times the size of Jupiter over Earth. You know what I'm saying? Like you could fit Earth into Jupiter, I don't know, 4 or 5 times? Jupiter is massive. So imagine Earth being that big. There is that, and it is a very strange but ethereal frequency that I really enjoy visiting. There's certain places on this planet that when you meditate and disappear from the meditation is because of that particular area. Like the Mayans were able to disappear. A lot of them went, not just the Mayans, a lot of Mesoamericans, Meso indigenous, so from Central Meso into South America, there's a lot of that. Ancient wise, like Inca and Aztec, that I see in Jupiter and when I go to meditate. But that part of that particular frequency of Jupiter has a lot of different species that are not humanoid at all. That can be quite frightening on this planet in this physics, but there it's like whatever. But a lot of the agents of decay have headquarters there, like the Baron Samedi and his beloved Maman Brigitte. Anubis has a headquarters there. Santa Muerte. I love her. Whenever she's around, it's just a warm energy with Santa Muerte. I'm grateful to everybody in my spirit family, my spirit guides. But it's just nice. It's this certain, just like on this side of the veil, certain beings in the human form that you interact with, you have a more a certain type of an alliance or synergy with Santa Muerte. The synergy is this, she becomes like my daughter. I'm like a mom to her. And I would have thought it would have been the other way around. But it's an honor. It's an honor. I'll be her mom. Well, that's the vibe. And maybe I think there was a time before she was Santa Muerte that, we might have been mother and daughter, because that's the vibe. And it's really nourishing, and I'm grateful. But she don't play about me either. Don't come around me with that bullshit. That sickle in her hand, that Grim Reaper mode. Trust me on this one. Let me finish this. Tech savvy. Oh yeah, I've seen that with Martians. Tech savvy. So businesses online would be fantastic. Having your own website, providing a service to humanity via the internet, via a website, via technology is fantastic. Financial independence, yeah, because of that go-getter energy. It's really, really refreshing. How much time are we in? Hour and 4 minutes. How do I do this every time? I seriously think be thinking that I can put a half hour in. It's not that easy. You just gotta go with the flow, however it's channeling out, right? Winner, period. Big up to the Martians. They will win, won't they? What's up, Serena? You will win, honey. You cleaned up that tennis court. You just you mopped that tennis court up, child. Okay. Big up to Serena and big up to the Compton energy. She had to unleash upon the court. But winner energy, champion energy, awesome. Connection to the flamingo totem. Okay, so that's a totem that is directly. I have seen that. I forgot about that part because I was leaning towards the badger because of the energy that, especially that I started with today. But I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you, Mars. Thank you, Martians. Y'all made me feel better. I appreciate y'all. Y'all throw nice functions and y'all put the right food, drink, and stuff like that. Y'all social beings. It's very lovely. Very nice. Y'all bring happiness. That's the next trait. And the very last but not least is very creative. Very creative. Elegant. Strong. Virile. Vibrant. It's Mars energy. It's about go out there and get that. But do it responsibly. Do it with temperance, moderation. Whatever that noise was in the background, that sounded like a crash. You don't want that. You want grace. So utilize that grace, that warmth. Sometimes, you can hear this warmth like Morgan Freeman. You know Morgan Freeman's voice when you hear him, right? You know what I'm saying? Even Luke Cage, the gentleman who plays Luke Cage, sorry, his character in the show Evil, his name is David. He plays a priest. If you haven't checked out the series Evil, please do. It is fantastic. What is it, on Paramount? Fascinating. Even Stephen King was just like, what the fuck? Like, why would y'all stop this series? It's amazing. Amazing. But this gentleman who plays David, his voice is very warm voice. Arnold Schwarzenegger, his voice, you hear the voice. Scarlett Johansson, the voice, very warm, nice voice. But they can get rowdy. Ow. Okay, I hear Lisa Left Eye like, and it's not always warm, honey. Sometimes they're scandalous and elegant. I keep picking up elegant though. Big up to Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Okay? That's my sis. Enough respect. And what she's doing for the people now, you'd be very proud of her. That's what Mars is about. Resilience. Strength. Powerful. Blessed. On that note, y'all, you have a blessed day. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe. Please hit the like button. Please, let's get this out there to all the other Martians, parents of Martians. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You have a child from Mars and you know it. You know what they're here to do. You know what their attributes are like. You know how successful they're going to be. And now you can act accordingly. Isn't that nice? You're raising a champion, a winner. That's important to know. If our parents were from Mars, that's the stock we come from. A winner. That's what's up. All right, y'all keep on winning. I'll see you in the next video.